Hey guys, it's Godbars here, the self-proclaimed hip-hop historian, and this is the 403rd episode of my series where I grab a vinyl from my collection, talk about why I love it, what influence it has, and what its place is in the grand scheme of hip-hop. So as talented as the MC we're discussing today is, I must admit that not only was he someone whose work it took me a while to physically acquire on vinyl, but it's actually someone who took me a pretty long time to come around to in general, that being Brother Ali. And if you were familiar with the label Rhymesayers, there's a good chance you already know who this guy is. You may be wondering why it took me so long to come around to Ali's music, and it actually has nothing to do with the quality of the content, because it isn't like I listened to his work and decided it wasn't for me. Instead, it was just one of those cases where I hadn't gotten around to giving his discography a try. And the weird thing is, even back then, I remember being pretty aware that I would most likely be a fan if I did check out his music. And I'd heard him show and prove on the mic a few times before, through his various guest appearances or career as a battle rapper in the Scribble Jam circuit. Yet I continued to put off giving his stuff a chance until just a few years ago, sort of like when you put off watching a show that everyone says is amazing and you know it probably is, yet you procrastinate on starting it. I knew I had wanted to begin my listening journey with 2003's Shadows on the Sun, Brother Ali's sophomore LP here, but what officially convinced me was when I learned that all of the beats were handled by Ant of the duo Atmosphere, another one of those flagship acts for Rhymesayers, because in my opinion he's one of the most underrated hip-hop producers period, and his ability to continuously create simple, yet incredibly potent instrumentals is frankly uncanny. Even though Ali is really all that comes to mind in terms of an albino rapper who doubles as a devout Muslim and activist, he isn't quote-unquote trying to look different for some image. In fact, the bulk of his content is extremely relatable and really shows a deep connection to and understanding for the everyman, in a way similar to his close friend, collaborator, and label mate Slug, who's the other half of the aforementioned duo Atmosphere opposite Ant. I really have to give Ali props on how consistent he's managed to stay as a participant in the hip-hop community, especially amongst all his other endeavors outside of the genre, because he debuted all the way back in 2000 with his Rites of Passage LP. Then, after his 2003 follow-up here, he continued to sprinkle a couple quality projects throughout the rest of the decade, like 2007's The Undisputed Truth or 2009's Us. Even going into the 2010s, the underground veteran would proceed to release one of his strongest and most acclaimed works to date, 2012's Morning in America and Dreaming in Color, and he wouldn't stop there, releasing a myriad of other albums before getting to 2024's Love and Service, which was a dope collaboration with Unjust, ending up in my top 50 hip-hop albums of 2024, and most recently, Ali actually teamed up with Ant once again for the LP he released just earlier this year called Soul Service, which you can most likely expect to see in my top 50 video come the end of this year. Brother Ali is also a pretty versatile artist overall, as he always sounds comfortable regardless of the type of beat he's given, and he can effortlessly switch between the more standard, grimy boom bap, where the goal is to talk your shit and generally impress with your abilities on the mic, to these more emotional, personal, and vulnerable moments that really peel back the onion a bit more. One example of the latter comes in the album's defining single, Forrest Whitaker, with the title being a reference to how both the famous actor and the MC share a lazy eye. And this is arguably Brother Ali's most successful track to date, backed up by this killer Ant instrumental that almost has a bit of an old western flair to it, though somehow it perfectly ends up matching Ali's subject matter and tone of voice. Speaking of which, he starts off this career-defining track by saying, "Hey yo, depending on the day and depending on what I ate, I'm anywhere from 20 to 35 pounds overweight. I got red eyes and one of them's lazy, and they both squint when the sun shines so I look crazy. I'm albino, man, I know I'm pink and pale, and I'm hairy as hell everywhere but fingernails. I shave a cranium that ain't quite shaped right, face type shiny, I stay up and write late nights. My wardrobe is jeans and faded shirts. A mixture of what I like and what I wear to work. I'm knock-kneed and got a neck full of razor bumps. I'm not the classic profile of what the ladies want. You might think I'm depressed as can be, but when I look in the mirror, I see sexy ass me. And if that's something that you can't respect, then that's peace. My life is better without you, actually. To everyone out there who's a little different, I say, damn a magazine. These is God's fingerprints. You can call me ugly, but can't take nothing from me. I am what I am, doctor, you ain't gotta love me. While Ant is the only name in the mix when it comes to this immaculate production, we do get one featured artist, that being Slug, who ends up with a couple of guest spots on this thing. And when it comes to my honorable mentions for this one, I think I'm gonna leave out the iconic track I already focused on. That way I can make room to recommend songs like Champion, Star Quality, Win Some Lose Some, Pay Them Back, Blah Blah Blah, Backstage Pacin', Dorian, Soul Whisper, and Picket Fence. Then for my overall top 3 favorites, I would definitely have to go with the title track, When the Beat Comes In, and Room with a View. Thank you for watching my 403rd video. Next time we are having a West Coast duo that's never been on the page before, so keep an eye out for that one, and if you enjoyed, be sure to like, subscribe, and let me know what moments you enjoy the most off this sonically colorful listen. Don't forget to have a great day, and I'll see you next time, okay? Alright.